So when I was going through security at the Superior Courthouse yesterday, getting ready to go up to the jury assembly room, hoping that I would be either excused from jury duty or be able to postpone it, and I postponed it to later in July. But just to make sure that next week's like Taylor's graduating, so at any rate.
Not going on.
I'm just saying I'm not shirking my civic duties.
Here, Coach.
But the reason why I'm mentioning this here is because as I was going through security,
you got stopped.
The police officer who was there said to me, "Go easy on my Cowboys."
Okay. Yeah.
First thing he said to me. And I said, in the nicest way possible, because, he had authority.
Right,
yeah. I'm like, why would you say that to me? What gives? Like, I'm not that bad, am I? He goes, you give it some business.
Yeah. See, he knows.
And then pointed out, I'm not even in the same, just to paraphrase what he said, area code universe is Stephen A.
Now, that's true.
Okay.
He's a hater of the highest degree.
That's true.
But I'm about to show my ability to be fair and balanced. Because right now your head coach is getting roasted.
By who?
Everybody.
For what?
Talking about Dak being in a developmental quarterback stage.
I feel everyone is developing their skill set constantly. You, at 27 years in the game, you're still developing your skill set.
You know what I do every day? I don't host. I hone.
Yeah, you hone your skill set. That's developing. You're getting better each and every day. I don't have a problem with that.
I just replaced the last two letters of that word host with hone. I'm honing every day.
Always.
Are you honing?
Always. If you're not honing, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I know what you're doing.
What? Molding.
You're honing.
You're molding.
You're molding.
Honing and molding.
You are remediating.
I am.
When you hone. Del Tufo doesn't need a home.
Yeah, he's already at the top.
He's already working at such a high level. He's collecting Emmys while hand feeding rodents in his neighborhood.
He did not win one this year.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Oh, he must be pissed.
Yeah.
How dare the Academy snub a man who doesn't need to hone his craft anymore?
You know why?
Old. Too old.
No, actually,
we discovered that yesterday.
You could.
He is too old.
You could also use the newest drop is that the Academy told Del Tufo to go chew bark.
Thank you. Somewhere and chew on bark.
Chew on bark. At any rate, we digress. Your coach is getting roasted
by idiots.
Whoa.
Well, here's the soundbite that everybody's up in arms about.
Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, it was asked about Joe Milton, the man who caused the Patriots to choose too far away for the players they wanted in the draft. Because Joe Milton, as you know, he's a winner.
Yeah.
He wins games that he starts. He's a 1-0 starter in the National Football League.
That's perfect.
He's not actually.
Is he not?
Drake May started that game.
Oh.
Yeah, but no one remembers
Well, he
that.
gave Drake May the win.
I remember that.
He gave Drake May the win.
I'll remember it for the rest of my life.
When Travis Hunter is a two-way star, not in New England? At any rate, he was asked about Joe Milton, who was acquired by the Cowboys earlier this offseason.
Milton, is he more in because he just got in the league last year, he's more in the developmental phase in terms of how you're trying to get him to grow?
I think they all are. I mean, I think Dak is in the developmental phase, and that sounds crazy for a guy that's played that much, but like there's things that we're tweaking with Dak, so I don't think it's just for Joe. Joe is a guy that we obviously know all about the talent, but the system that he came from in Tennessee, created some challenges in terms of just what he has to learn and things like that. But the minute these quarterbacks think that they've figured it all out, that's when it's probably time for them to think about doing something different, because the way defenses attack in this league, it makes it almost impossible to ever relax.
So how could somebody of Dak's stature be in a developmental phase? That's what people are asking.
That's because people want to draw their own narrative and not just listen to what the man says.
31-year-old quarterback with a lot of games under his belt.
He's only the highest paid
player.
Quarterback on an annual per year basis.
Do you think Tom
APY.
Brady, after 3 Super Bowls, decided he was just going to stop growing and he had nothing else to learn? Like, that meant you constantly are evolving. You're constantly learning.
Well, let me give you the pushback here.
Spin zone out of
Let me give you the pushback to that before.
Spin zone.
Let me give you the pushback before, because I might be going back to the same courthouse. I got to be nice. this is the way you talk about your quarterback, who's a veteran and who's going to go ahead and give you a shot at the Super Bowl. Just as a for instance, this is what folks think you should be saying when your quarterback's name is mentioned, or you bring up the backup. You don't bring up your starting quarterback to say everyone's still learning.
All right.
This is the way you talk about your starting quarterback.
Woke up the other day and said, got to get Justin Herbert to the Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Must get Justin Herbert to the Hall of Fame.
You woke up and said that?
Yeah. It's just one of those things where you wake up and kind of like 3:30, 4 in the morning.
Right.
And sometimes that's when your best ideas come.
Yeah, I know.
And
I'm with you.
Yeah, you kind of process that, and that would mean winning a couple Super Bowls, and there'd be a lot of people would benefit.
Have you ever said those words to Justin Herbert? I'm going to get you to the Hall of Fame, or I want to do that.
No, I haven't. That was really, you're the first person I've said that to.
Just as a for instance, you know.
Okay. He also said the chicken was a nervous bird.
No. I know
we can go down the list of things that he said.
I know. I'm holding up an unconventional example as a contrast. That's again, potentially a learning curve moment. A learning, like when somebody is bringing up a newly acquired backup quarterback to a head coach, you don't just say he's developing, but so is our $60 million a year quarterback.
So let me ask you this. If Schottenheimer had said something to the effect of Dak is great, he's fine, he doesn't need any development, he's good, we're going to roll with him, the pushback would have been like, well, he's never won anything. Look at his postseason record. No. That would have been.
TJ, he was asked about the backup. And an example, he then mentions how his $60 million a year quarterback is still developing himself. And a lot of folks are wondering, what the hell is he talking about? When you see it out of context. But when you do hear it, you do hear what he's saying is that he's still working on some stuff. And also, you could take it in the idea that he's developing in whatever system they are installing, even though the idea was the McCarthy way is going to still be the way since Brian Schottenheimer's there. And this is, a lot of dust up that's talked about on the last weekend of May while we're waiting for football to actually start to be played. And you are right. Brady, I'm sure, was working on things deep into his 40s.
No one ever called him developmental in his 30s.
That's another way to put it.
Well, he also had a coach who wasn't in his first year and not a whole lot of experience talking in front of media types.
So this is much ado about nothing when it all comes down to it. When it all comes down to it. But I would just counsel the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys to just, when he mentions Dak Prescott, talk about how he's going to win Super Bowls. Because no one would fault him for that.
All right, but you do realize the amount of pushback and crap he would take.
Why? Why?
Okay, he wouldn't.
Excuse me, TJ Jefferson. It's a What's More Likely Friday. Let me give you one in advance of what we're going to do later on in this program. What's more likely? The Super Bowl that you're hoping for to hit in Dallas, to remind you of the days of yore, sir. What's more likely? It will be won by Dak or another quarterback who is either in college, in high school, or yet to be born. What's more likely?
At the rate we're going now, he's not. His parents haven't even met.
Okay. I know you're maybe using that as your umbrella, but do you really believe that? You really believe that now?
I've got 30 years.
Dakota Prescott will not win a Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys.
No.
I feel like I should come over and give you a hug.
For what?
Because that's sad.
What's sad about it? You know how many other teams, whether they want to admit it or not, have to understand your team, you're never going to win a Super Bowl in your lifetime. Sorry to tell you.
Oh,
Jason
my
Feller,
goodness
you're probably
gracious. How dare you say such a thing to me?
First of all, I'm going to live.
I'm like fame. I'm going to live forever.
Well, I hope you do.
But on top of it, on top of that,
wow.
But
hold on a second.
We have 50
on top
plus
of that,
years of data that says I'm right.
Excuse me, Washington Commanders fans. 2 years ago,
That's true.
were in the dumpster fire of grease fires.
That's true.
Okay? They were sitting there reading the Washington Post every other day about one more hair-raising story involving their owner. Jim Irsay, may he rest in peace, spoke out, and then poof, he's gone. Now look at him. If you asked a Washington Commanders fan, 3 years ago, right? 4 years ago, whenever Snyder was ousted, are you going to see a Super Bowl in your lifetime?
I'm sure they'll say yes.
They would not have. I don't know. You could have said that to them. You're not going to see one in your lifetime. Number of people walk up to me saying, is Dan Snyder ever going to be sent packing? That was the number one question I got from a Commander Washington sports fan.
Okay.
Now look at him. The Chiefs, every Chiefs fan we know, every single Chiefs fan that's celebrating the big slick and raising money for Children's Mercy this weekend. Mahomes came out of the sky. Burrow comes out of the sky. Josh Allen comes out of the sky.
There's only one of those guys who've won a Super Bowl.
Well, what's more likely? They will win one of the next several or not, never? I don't know. But you can't tell me, man.
Winning Super Bowls.
You can't tell me. You can't tell me. And I feel that's why I want to come over and give you a hug, that you think here Dak Prescott will not win you a Super Bowl.
All I ever hear sitting in this chair is Dak stinks and the Cowboys stink.
I don't say that ever.
Okay.
You know how I feel about Dak.
I feel like I'm losing my mind right now. Like this is Groundhog Day and like.
And what? That means I'm repeating myself.
Every person who calls, that's the narrative, that Dak stinks. The Cowboys can't win. They haven't won a Super Bowl or a playoff game in 30 years. So why would I believe that they're going to win?
How about this?
Well, you're making me sound like I'm crazy or something.
You are, because I do think Dak's.
Be smoking
I do think Dak's going to. I do think Dak's going to win you that Super Bowl.
Well, you're alone in that thought. How about that? And I'm not crazy because.
So then why don't you sign this piece of paper if you feel that way?
Why would I sign it? Just because I don't think you're going to win a Super Bowl? What? So then I go to the next team and they don't win. Do I continuously jump squads until I find the next New England Patriots dynasty?
We could put up a certain meme with all these pennants.
And how many football teams are on there?
There's just one.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. One.
Is this the opposite of a giggle fest?
No, this is, I can't believe we're having this conversation fest right now.
Yes or no? You break the tie. Does he do it or he never does it?
And Brockman, if you say anything other than no, then you're lying to yourself and to these people, bro. Come on, don't do that.
Let me soften it. Let me soften it.
Okay.
Let me soften it.
Do they make it?
Was it a piece of steak?
Hold on.
Do they make it?
No. Does Dak Prescott have the ability to do it?
Oh, yes.
Hell yes. Hell yes. I'm looking directly into the camera. Does Dak Prescott have the ability, the heart, the soul, the execution to win a Super Bowl, to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Hell yes. Absolutely. Will he have the roster around him and the right coaching staff? Now that's the question.
Yeah, exactly. The coaching staff
This
and
is
the
a
front
question about
office
the Dallas
has not
Cowboys.
done Dak a lot of favors, but he has the ability. He's also been very unlucky with injuries the last few years.
Correct. This is not a Dak hating spot, sir. I've got more faith than you do.
I'm time stamping this at 10:18.
Please. I don't think we disagree. Can he do it? Hell yeah.
For sure.
Does he have that within his body, within his work ethic? Hell yes, he does. Which is why the Cowboys pay him and keep him there, because they feel the same way, despite his developing situation. I'm going to come over and give you a hug. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.